Before anyone knew who you were, someone had already chosen your name. Before you could form an opinion about yourself, the world had already begun defining you. You were told where you belonged, what your family was, what was right, what was wrong, what success looked like, what failure meant. And little by little, you built an identity, a story, a character, a version of yourself that felt so familiar you eventually stopped questioning it. But there is a question that has followed humanity for thousands of years. A question so simple that most people never truly answer it. Who are you? Not your name, not your profession, not your achievements, not your past. Who are you? Try answering that question right now. Without mentioning your name, without describing your career, without talking about your family, without repeating any of the labels you usually use. Who are you? Something strange happens when you try. The answer seems obvious at first, then it begins to slip away. Because most of us have spent our entire lives learning what to say about ourselves. Very few of us have investigated who is standing behind those descriptions. Chapter 6, Being from a Cosmic Message by Gilberto Franzoni, invites us into that investigation. Not to adopt a new belief, not to collect another spiritual concept, but to explore something that has been present our entire lives. Something so close that we often overlook it completely. Imagine finding a photograph of yourself from 10 years ago. Look closely. The face is different. The goals are different. The fears are different. The dreams are different. The person in that photograph believed things that you no longer believe, worried about things that no longer matter, wanted things you may have completely forgotten. Now find a photograph from 20 years ago. The difference becomes even greater, and yet something remains. You still say, "That was me," but how can that be if almost everything changed? Who remained when you were 7 years old? You thought you knew who you were. At 15, you became someone else. At 25, someone else again. Today, another version stands here. But there's a problem. Every one of those versions disappeared, and yet, you are still here. So who is moving through all those versions? Imagine an actor. Throughout a lifetime, he plays many roles. A king, a soldier, a teacher, a father, a stranger. Every role has a different personality, different desires, different struggles, different stories. But when the performance ends, the role disappears. The actor remains. Now imagine a role forgetting that it is a role. Imagine a character becoming so attached to the costume that it believes the costume is its true identity. It sounds absurd, yet perhaps that is exactly what happens to us. We become attached to an image, a story, a personality, a collection of memories. And eventually we stop questioning whether that is truly who we are. Notice how often people say, "That's just who I am. I'm an anxious person. I'm a shy person. I'm an angry person. I'm a failure. I'm not good enough." But are these identities? Or are they experiences repeated so many times that they began to feel permanent? Imagine a person who spends 20 years believing they are incapable. Then one day they do something they thought was impossible. What happened? Did they become a different person? Or did they simply discover that the identity they were protecting was incomplete? Perhaps many of the labels we carry are nothing more than familiar stories. Stories repeated until they begin to feel like truth. But repetition does not create reality. It creates habit. Imagine looking at the sky. Clouds appear continuously. Some are light and beautiful. Others bring storms. Some remain for minutes, others for hours. But none of them are the sky. They pass. The sky remains. Now observe your thoughts. A thought appears, then disappears. Another arrives, then leaves. Observe your emotions. They rise, they fall. Observe your fears. Observe your desires. Observe your opinions. Everything changes. Everything moves. Everything passes. So why do we define ourselves through things that never stop changing? Perhaps because nobody taught us how to observe. We were taught how to react, how to compete, how to compare, how to achieve, how to defend our position. But very few people are taught how to simply observe their own experience. And this may be one of the greatest losses of modern life. Because the more distracted we become, the less aware we are of our own existence. Think about it. How many times have you driven somewhere and barely remembered the journey? How many times have you had a conversation while thinking about something else? How many times have you spent an entire day moving from task to task without being fully present for any of it? Most people are not truly living. They are reacting. Reacting to notifications. Reacting to obligations. Reacting to fears. Reacting to desires. Reacting to circumstances. And when all attention is directed outward, something important remains unnoticed. The one who is observing. Imagine a lake. When the surface is disturbed, you cannot see beneath it. But when the water becomes still, something appears. The bottom was always there. The movement simply prevented you from seeing it. Perhaps consciousness works the same way. Perhaps what we are searching for is not hidden because it is far away. Perhaps it is hidden because there is too much noise, too much identification, too much attachment to stories, too much attachment to the character. The chapter suggests a possibility that what you truly are cannot be reduced to a description, because every description has limits. Every label has limits. Every identity has limits. But the experience of being exists before all of them, before the labels, before the stories, before the definitions, before the personality. This may be why the question feels uncomfortable. Who are you? The mind immediately searches for an answer, a word, a category, a role, an explanation. But perhaps some questions are not meant to be answered immediately. Perhaps they are meant to be lived. Perhaps the purpose of the question is not to create a new identity. Perhaps its purpose is to dismantle the false ones, until only what is real remains. Something that was present in your childhood, something that was present during every victory, every loss, every heartbreak, every moment of joy. Something that has silently witnessed every chapter of your life and remains here now, right now. As you listen to these words, thoughts are appearing, memories are appearing, emotions are appearing. Yet something is aware of all of it. Something is watching, silently, constantly, without effort, without needing recognition, without needing validation, without needing to become anything. Perhaps this is what the chapter calls being, not a theory, not a philosophy, not a belief system, but an experience, a discovery. Something no book can hand to you, something no teacher can give you, because nobody can answer this question on your behalf. Who are you? Not who others told you to be, not who you are trying to become, not who you fear becoming. Who are you? If every title disappeared, if every achievement vanished, if every role came to an end, if every story was removed, what would remain? Most people spend their lives trying to become something more successful, more respected, more spiritual, more important. But perhaps there is another path. Perhaps the deepest journey is not becoming. Perhaps it is remembering. Remembering what existed before all the conditioning, before all the labels, before all the masks, because maybe the greatest mistake we can make is spending decades trying to discover what we should do, without first discovering who is doing it. And maybe the greatest adventure is not conquering the outer world. Maybe it is recognizing what has been quietly present within you from the very beginning, the one who observes, the one who remains, the one who exists before the thoughts, before the emotions, before the stories, before the character, before the name, the one who simply is. And perhaps the most important question of your life is not, what should I become? Perhaps it is, who am I before everything I learned to call myself?